The greatest campaign of coercion and terror has been waged within Sudan against the Christians and other groups who do not bow to Islam. Most are the Africans of the south and the mountainous Nuba region in central Sudan.
If people would understand what the Quran teaches in Holy War, they would be horrified. The Quran actually teaches its adherents to kill and to slay, to enslave, to beleaguer, to deceive, to annihilate, to crucify, to mutilate, or to drive into exile all enemies of Islam. It tells them to even kill the people of the book, that's the Christians.
Trials for offenders of Sharia law are often summary, and sentences are carried out according to the Quran. Journalists visiting this prison asked if any amputations for theft had been carried out.
This hand was very precious, but when stolen this sum of money, it has become very cheap, so it is better to be cut. We have a hanging room in Wad Madani, one in Port Sudan, one in Al Fashir, one here in Kobar, one in Malakal, one in Juba, one in Wau.
This is Hadi Youssef. Bulldozers were here just hours ago, leveling homes. 1.8 million, mostly Christians, were living in suburbs like this one when the government decided to remove them in 1992, when jihad was declared. They came here from the south and Nuba mountain region, fleeing the fighting against the rebels. Some have been here for over 20 years. With little warning, the government has destroyed hundreds of thousands of homes. Christian schools are prohibited, and Christian children are coerced and even abducted into Islamic schools where they are re-educated.
Sudan is great. Sudan is great.
They usually used to come, surround the village, take the people, and take them to what they call it, these peace camps. The information we got, they will take children and some people and take them to schools.
They are forced inside to be educated in Arabic language and also Islamized. So they refuse this and they are looking for ways to come out. When they get these boys, they kill them and they throw them into the water, into the Nile, River Nile.
What are you looking at? Go away and don't look here again. The boys are always hungry, eating only twice a day. Their diet is sorghum. I want to go to a normal school. Why? Because then I'll be able to have holidays and see my family. Why was the boy we interviewed in chains? Because he escaped. He didn't want to stay and learn the Quran. We have so many who remain in chains until they've learned all of the Quran. They must give up playing. Playing is harmful. It does not allow them time to study. Anyone who misbehaves, he is whipped so that he doesn't play anymore. The school says more children are coming to Islam than ever before. To survive the jihad, the non-Muslim, non-Arab Africans of the South have had to take up arms against the government troops and PDF militia raiders. This ragtag army of rebels has managed to take control of most of the South and establish a democratic government based on personal and religious freedom. The Sudanese People's Liberation Army, or SPLA, are all unpaid volunteers, fighting not only for their freedom, but for the very lives of their people.
We want a democratic country where people can live the way they want to live and believe the way they want to believe, okay? And this is a cause which we are fighting for.
We are fighting, yes, for our freedom. We are fighting to liberate our people, but also this is a war of survival.
This is the marketplace in Louis. This place, in fact, just a year and a half ago was completely deserted, in fact controlled by the Arabs in Garrison Town. Today it's a thriving community, the church, the school, the hospital, and the marketplace overflowing with goods. This is probably one of the most prosperous looking markets in southern Sudan that I've seen.
In the Nuba Mountains, the SPLA also helped to defend the mostly Christian population there, who have fled into these easily defended heights from the valleys below. They fight to preserve a Christian heritage that dates back to the 1st century.
I left my area and I live on the top of the mountain. Yeah, because my village burned 3 times.
The huge valleys in the Great Plains, the fertile fields, have been taken over, destroyed and devastated by the Arab forces. And so what has now happened is that the Nuba people have had to retreat up the mountains, and they found sanctuary in these mountain refuges. They're able to protect these precipitous, steep mountain slopes with just a few people, and they do.
When people climb up into the mountains, there is no good place for crops. People have nothing to eat, and so there is a big famine now.
Battalions have disappeared in the Nuba Mountains and been annihilated by SPLA forces, and the government of Sudan has realized that by sending in forces here, all they're doing is actually resupplying the resistance fighters with a whole lot of weaponry. Not wanting to be the quartermaster of the enemies, the Arab government, the National Islamic Front government in Khartoum, is now resorting primarily to high-flying bombers. Basically what they're doing is terror bombing of civilian centers, planting landmines in farming areas in order to scare the people from even harvesting their own crops, and on occasion even helicopter gunships have come around here making terror attacks on civilian centers.
The helicopter gunships were bought from the communist Chinese by the Islamic fundamentalists of Khartoum, and it destroyed the 2 Christian churches at Kotabe and killed the 7 Christians and wounded more than 40 Christians. And that is the savage battle that the Omar Bashir and Dr. Torabe is waging against the Christians in the southern Sudan.